we've got 4 feet of water. That's to be believed. Trying to go into this tight little slough in here to get out of the wind. And look at this. Someone put that on a tree. It's kind of eerie. I don't know if this is dumb or just adventurous, but we really want to get out of the wind tonight, especially after last night. And so far the depth is good. This little back channel, it's over 7 feet right now. Look at this, it goes up around the corner back here. This is pretty cool. And definitely out of the wind. That's where we just came from. I don't know what all this green stuff is in the water. I think it's probably just droppings from the trees. Look at this. I feel like we're in the bayou. This is cool. It just keeps going back there. We might take the dinghy, go exploring a little bit. If anybody might be wondering where we are, there's Smiths, Iowa. And we're probably about 20 miles south of Dubuque. And I want to say just a few miles north of Belvedere, where the next lock is. Okay, so tonight's the first night that I'm going to try the propane heater. I put the, let me show you. So I put the stovepipe on. And let's see what happens. All right. Okay, so I've been letting it go for a while here. Touching the sides. They're definitely hot. But my little cutting board is nice and cool. Wall behind it, nice and cool. I'm going to do something better. I'm just kind of testing this out for the first time, guys. I've never used it in here. It's cool. Stovepipe. I can touch it, but just barely. And the wall around it feels fine. I'm going to keep a really close eye on it. I'm just pinching myself right now, guys. Making chicken. It's getting nice and warm in here. The place hasn't burned down yet. We're sitting back on this slough. Got 12 feet of water. Absolutely gorgeous. We've got solar. Batteries are all charged up. I'm gonna take the dinghy over to the beach later for the Beagle. Life just feels really good. Alright guys, so it's been about an hour that I've been using the little propane heater there. I did have this in a truck camper a couple years ago and it worked great, so I knew it was gonna work. I just didn't know how well it would work in here. But it's working great. Yeah, nice and it just I step outside and I get reminded of how cold it is. It's probably dipping down to below 40 tonight, and then I come back in here. It helps to have that curtain partitioning off the little closet bathroom area, and I'll probably drop these curtains here in a little bit. But yeah, nice and just nice. I feel like I'm in a cabin in the woods. We even took Wavy's little jacket off. Are you pre-washing the pan? The view from my chair. Good morning, guys and gals. So, I don't know if you're going to be able to see this, but it's snowing. Little snowflakes. It's probably about 32 degrees. Now that I know about these little backwater sloughs, these are going to come in really handy, because when it's windy out there and you get back in here where the wind gets blocked in almost every direction, man, it was so peaceful back here tonight. And the depth was good. You can see it's 12 feet right now, which is way more than I was expecting. We are slowly making our way to the backside of that island right there, which is a beach, because Wavy has been needing to go to shore since last night. I mean, nothing crucial. She didn't make any mistakes or anything, but I think she forgot to poop when I was running her around yesterday, if I'm reading her mind correctly. But I want to show you this really quick. When you go between two islands, oftentimes you have bars, sandbars usually, you know, in between them, and the depth will come up. And just my recommendation, if you don't already know this, a lot of folks already do, you know, even more than I know, but I oftentimes try to talk to folks who might, if they do a trip like this, it might be the first time they've ever had like a boating adventure. Try to go right in the middle, go slow, and put your depth sounder at least on where you have half the screen, watching the depth coming. Okay, so right now I can see that I'm losing depth, right? But yeah, so, and just go slow. If you run up onto the sand, I've done it a couple times already on this trip, you just slowly back off if you're going slow enough. So right now I'm coming up to 2.5 feet, which doesn't surprise me. It's popped up for, oh. So I'm just gonna start watching it right now. As you can see. Now anything above 2 feet, and knowing it's a sandy bottom doesn't really concern me, especially when going slow. But it's taken some time to, you know, realize that. I know what this boat drafts, I know how far the engine hangs down and so forth, so. There's our beach. We're gonna go to the beach in the snow today. I'm even gonna take a bath in the snow, a quick one. All right, there's our cutting power. Drift in sideways. Kill the motor. Trim up the motor. And slide on in. All right, guys, I'm freezing. It is literally snowing. Wanted to show you really quick. Told you I clipped some rocks. Luckily, this is an aluminum prop, and aluminum props usually just take the damage and don't transfer it on to the lower unit and the shaft and the hub and all that. So this is no big deal. Maybe at some point I'm gonna come and file these a little bit, and I have a spare prop, of course, but this is a, you know, this is a high thrust boat, which helps. They have bigger, heftier lower units. Not that you want to go testing that. The last thing you want to do is blow out your lower unit on your motor on a trip like this. But yeah, you know, it's avoid the rock, avoid the wing dams. We are coming into a little town called Bellevue, Iowa. This is like maybe a suburb of it, just north of it. And I'm slowly watching it go by. I'm wondering what that building is right there. Maybe it's a hospital, or I don't know. It's surrounded by like a RV park. And then they've got kind of an industrial something or other right there. I love these little river towns. They're such a mystery. And, you know, anything you kind of sneak up on at 5 miles an hour is always you're gonna get the full mystery of it, as opposed to just rolling into town on the roads at, you know, 55, 60. Hard to explain. I've tried before. Maybe I'll keep trying, but Yeah, it's like what CCR said. I've never saw the good side of a city until I hitched a ride on the riverboat Queen. Think I know what he meant by that. Hiding inside the cabin. It's cold. It's as cold as it looks. We are coming up on Lock and Dam number 12, Bellevue, Iowa. Good morning, Lockmaster. Lock number 12. This is a pleasure boat heading south and hoping I can pass through the lock this morning.
Lato back. We're currently doing the southbound wreck lockage. It'll be probably about 20 minutes by the time we get everything turned around and take you down.
Sounds good. Thank you, sir. So we're in kind of a holding pattern here. Wind from the north blowing us towards the lock, and it's about 20 minutes to go through. So what I'm doing is I'm just turning around and I'm drifting until I feel like I'm getting a little too close, and then I go power back up the current and the wind and drift again, because there's no place to dock or anything. So it's pretty much all you can do. We're powering back up the river to give us more drifting room. And man, I am so glad we are not traveling upriver. I'm probably doubled my RPMs just to do this little jaunt. And we're going about not even 4 miles an hour. So it would just take so much more gas to go upriver. I don't even see a reason to go upriver. I know sometimes people do. And I do know that folks come up to Tin Tom from Florida to the Kentucky Lakes, some full-time boat lifers, you know. Maybe the Tin Tom is doesn't have quite as much current. I don't know. Well, we'll find out. I'm going to be paying attention. I don't ever see a reason to come upriver. I would just go pick up the boat with my truck if I had to, you know. That's one of the many benefits of having a trailable boat. Lockmaster, I see that green light. I'm just double checking that's for me, sir.
Yep, come light, green light, no worries.
Thank you. The Lockmasters seem to have a little less patience 5 years on from the Shanty Boat Beagle adventure. I had conversations with them on the radio and when we were passing through the locks, and they all just seemed so friendly. Not all of them, almost all of them, almost without exception. But yeah, now, I don't know. They just seem, I'd say half the time, I just sense a little bit of like, they're annoyed. I don't know. Are you picking up on it in the videos when I'm showing you guys the interaction on the radio? You tell me. Could just be in my head. Green light. Green light blinking for us. I'm going to really have to pay attention here because of the tailwind closing up for us. Here's another example of why I'm so glad we have 60 horsepower on the back as opposed to a 9.9 or a 15. Because I can actually power backwards into the current and into the wind to give us more space when we're drifting inside the chamber here. It would be so nerve-wracking if we didn't have enough horsepower. We'd have to tie to the side. There'd be no choice. And then you see how quickly the boat just turns sideways. That's what they do when they're not under power. It's just a big sail. All right, well, finally, I just ended up tapping up against the side. I don't want to sit there and do 15-point turns inside the chamber. It's ridiculous. And I did keep the gutters off. We tapped the gutters, but it didn't hurt them. So, isn't that an eerie look when you look out your windows and you see a concrete wall? All right. Before we know it, we're heading out. Doesn't take very long up here. Thank you, sir. Appreciate it. Get out of here. Always feels good to get on the south side of a lock and dam. Everything just kind of mellows out for a while. We're going to stop and walk around this little town, Bellevue, Iowa. No municipal docks, at least this time of year, and it's cold. Snow flurries today. It's probably, I don't even think it's 30, but it's 25 is my guess. We're walking it down. We're gonna do a quick Beagle tour of Bellevue, Iowa. Stay tuned, guys. Another little town I'd like to just linger in. I'll read this to you real quick, guys. Michael William Hayes, Brian Joseph Hoff, both died in car accidents. Looks like in the 1986. Yeah, maybe at the same time. It was homecoming night for Bellevue High School. On this rainy evening in October, Michael and Brian lost their lives in an automobile accident. This terrible tragedy will be remembered by many for a long time. Michael and Brian were both good standing members of Bellevue Explorers Post 357. This water fountain was erected in their memory. They will never be forgotten. Little close to home tragedies like that really stick in people's minds. Onsenoggen's got some that I've heard about, people have told me about, and you know, some of the families are still there. Maybe I'll talk about it sometime, but yeah, it's sad. I don't know if you can see this, but there's the Beagle Barge. I never quite relax when I'm out away from it. Always hoping it's there when I get back. That's a neat place. It's very original. Probably had like a, I don't know, like a water wheel out there maybe. Kind of like Loretta Lynn's ranch last winter in Tennessee there. It's a restaurant now. And I don't know why I think like this, but I was thinking, you know, people ask me all the time, how do you afford to go on these trips? How do you afford to take so much time off? And I struggle to answer that, you know, because it's just so simple in a way. And I was thinking as I was looking at that place, I'm like, if I had a girlfriend or a wife, more than likely she would be like, let's go eat there. Let's go see what it looks like inside. Let's go have a drink. Let's go have some drinks. Let's go have dinner. Let's go have lunch. And then I would be, you know, $100 more, $200 poorer. And how long would that last before I ran out of money? And then I couldn't go on trips like this. So I know that's a silly way of trying to answer that question, but you probably get the gist of what I'm trying to say. You know, having a girlfriend and a good girlfriend and a good wife is really nice. Priceless, but it's kind of hard to mesh one up with freedom. I'll try to talk more about this in the future. And for the 5% of the ladies that I have on my channel, you're one of the good ones. Stick around. I know you will. Didn't even budge. All right, Beagle. Come here. You don't want to get your little footsies wet, do you? We are coming into a town called Savannah, Illinois. And it is still cold. This is another town I would love to stop and explore for a while. But winter has caught up with us. It's cold. Oh my goodness. I just feel like we need to keep going. That's just what winter does. If the forecast is to be believed, in a few days from now, it's going to warm up again, but not quite back up to like fall temperatures. It's going to get into the 50s. Sounds like 40s at night, which is very tolerable. I can handle that. But when it's like 28 degrees in the middle of the day, and I don't want to run this too much, I just don't want to run out of propane. We do have a diesel heater on board. I have not fully installed it. I kind of have to like makeshift put it in the window and do a few things. I can't really run it while we're moving. And I've kind of told myself I'm not going to run heat while we're moving. I'm just going to, you know, put a blanket over me. And I didn't bring a winter coat, which was really dumb too, because I've got like several. But yeah, I'm going to put the heat on when we stop, but I will just kind of grin and bear it while we're moving. So, but we're just about to stop for today. I do have let me turn the phone around. We're coming into this Savannah area, which is a lot bigger than I was expecting. And I'm thinking we're going to go into this, they call it Town Lake. We'll go down to the end here and go into the bridge and anchor up in there, which should keep us out of the north wind as well. Look at this downtown area. It would be so awesome to explore. I think those are high enough to get under. Reminds me of the train trestle in Ontonagon. This does look higher. I think we'll be fine. Okay, we're in a little side channel. A little bit south of Savannah. I think it's Savannah, Iowa. I think we're on the Iowa side. And there's a lot more current in this little back channel than I was hoping for, so I'm diligently watching to make sure that the anchors are holding. I'm always nervous about that unless I'm in really slack water for a while. So yeah, we'll just keep watching it for a bit. You got ice in the bucket. It snowed over last night. No, it's not rocket science. It's day. Okay, guys, I'm gonna try to snake my way through this trail and this tug made for me here. I'm just floating in a sea of... I mean, if my workhorse got damaged from this, it is closing up. Caught a bass. Back to the barge right up in this.